Ms Legalista here. Welcome to the video. You know, there are just some weird things that go on in the world. Sometimes something doesn't feel right. And I tell clients this all the time. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. Well, this was just one of these strange cases. Let me say this also. If you are a person who drives for Lyft or Uber, or you know someone who drives for Lyft or Uber or another one of these ride sharing platforms, then this is something you probably want to pay attention to. Let me go ahead and jump into the video here.
Pickup was they asked me to come inside.
A routine ride for this rideshare driver turned out to be so much more. Investigators say that a comment tricked the driver to be a part of his scheme. That accused swindler allegedly stole almost $20,000 from grandparents. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jawan Strader. Nico Clemens spoke with that driver. He's live in Hialeah with the interview you'll see only on 6. Nico.
It's just awful, Jawan. Investigators call it a grandparent scam, and they say this person tricked a husband and wife earlier this month. So police say this couple thought they were talking to their grandson over the phone who needed help and money. And of course, they're going to do anything to help their grandson. But police say this scam artist not only tricked them, he tricked a Lyft driver who unknowingly helped in the scheme. Oh, and that drop-off was right here in this parking lot. But by the time the driver and grandparents found out, it was too late.
So this is actually a couple of scams rolled up into one. First, we have the whole fake voice scam. And I did a video on this in the past. If you have any audio, video with audio of your voice on the internet, somebody only needs a few seconds of that to be able to take that, use some sort of tool or app, make that into you saying something else, and then share that with a family member to try to get the family member to, quote, send the fake you some money. And this has already been documented in numerous cases. You can imagine somebody like me who has tons of audio on the internet. It would be easy to take my voice and make it sound like it's me. So if you're the parent or the grandparent and you get this call, you immediately want to help out your child or your grandchild. Who's going to hold back and say, oh, wait, let me double check and see if this is a scam call? I almost feel like we need to have family passwords so that we use with each other to let the other person know that, hey, we're in trouble. This is a real call. And here is the family password that we say to each other. I don't know how we're going to get around some of this stuff. The other thing is you've now got Lyft drivers and other people being pulled into these scams and they don't know what's going on. So now we've all got to be on alert for this. Let's see what happened next.
It was just weird for me to go in and talk on the phone.
He was part of an elaborate scheme.
I really didn't put 2 to 2 together
and had no idea. James Elmore drives for Lyft and says he got an alert earlier this month to pick up a package at a home in Southwest Miami-Dade. He says an elderly couple at the house asked him to come inside and talk with a man on the phone.
Giving me specific instructions on where to take a package, how to deliver it, and that he would have somebody meet me outside of Ross when I got there.
He says he drove to a Ross parking lot in Hialeah and met the man he was supposed to deliver the package to.
I asked him what was the name on the package because I wouldn't release it. He gave me the name on the package. He didn't talk much, gave me the package, and then he went back.
Miami-Dade police say both the elderly couple and Elmore were scammed, and the man responsible is Agustin Garcia Marsan. Investigators say the elderly couple got a call from someone posing as their grandson, saying he was getting arrested and they needed to call an attorney. The arrest report says the grandfather called the number he was given, and the person posing as an attorney explained that he needs to come up with more than $18,000 for the bail bondsman that day.
Now, most people don't necessarily know how bails work, how these things are set up. So if you're speaking to a, quote, attorney on the phone and the attorney is telling you, yes, here's the process that you need to follow. I'll send someone over to make it easy for you. I understand you might not know where to go or what to do next. We'll take care of everything for you. Well, once the person says they're an attorney, some people will just fall in line and think that that's a credible thing, whether it is or not. You don't know who is on the other end of the phone. we really do have to take it upon ourselves to do research. It's like, I'm sorry, you said your name was what? What was your attorney name? And what's your state bar license number? And what's your office location number and telephone number? And can I call you back at this number? Just a few simple questions will help you be able to determine whether or not this person on the other end is real. Now, I can say all of that and then also say, well, you know what? Some of the scammers have gotten so good that they will have already picked out and gone online and said, hey, here's the person we're going to use. We're going to go ahead and look this information up. That way, if the person asks us for the information, we have it ready to go. If they ask us, we have it. The only problem is you need to hang up and say, well, let me call at that number. Let me go online, look them up and call them myself to make sure that's the other party. You just can't trust people anymore. I'm sorry. You just cannot.
The report goes on to say the couple followed through with the instructions, putting the money in a small box and handing it to an unsuspecting rideshare driver who was sent to pick it up. That driver was Elmore.
These people were so humble, so nice. They didn't even speak much. And at the same time, they didn't know they were being scammed.
Investigators tracked the rideshare payment back to Marsan. The arrest report says they also linked Marsan to multiple fraud incidents throughout Florida and North Carolina.
Okay, let's go down this route just a minute. You know, some of these scammers think they are really smart. When you start engaging in the use of some of these platforms, if you're having money sent to a legitimate bank account, someone is going to be able to go back and track that. If your local district attorney decides that they're going to prosecute this case and they're going to start pulling files in these records, they're going to be able to eventually track you down as a scammer. So you may get through quite a few people before they catch up to you, but usually you're leaving breadcrumbs along the way, unless you are a sophisticated scammer working in one of these really connected networks that have all of the mechanisms and tools to make it harder for them to get caught. But most of the time, when you have these simple local scammers like this, eventually they're going to get caught. And as you see in this case, this person did. Here's the other thing that's really sticking out for me, and it probably should if you ever plan on being a driver for like Lyft or Uber or something like that. And that is, are you really going to go into somebody's house and pick up a package and deliver that package someplace else? You have no idea what is in that package. And I'm not going to say a whole bunch of stuff because YouTube will probably get mad at me for saying some of these things. But, just packages that just might have things in them for people to use, packages that once they are delivered to a certain spot, do something in that spot on its own or with some assistance by somebody else. Why would you want to get into a situation where you are picking up a package from someone you don't know, delivering it at, even if it's a public place, to someone that you don't know, having it in your car? You have no idea what it is. No idea. So I'm pretty sure this guy was just like, I don't know what to do here. This is kind of different. I can imagine that at some point in time, Uber and Lyft are going to update their rules. And I didn't go to their website to see if they have done this, but there should be some messaging up there that says, here are some things you shouldn't do. I definitely think that this is one of them.
And he used the same method involving ride shares and meeting drivers at shopping plazas. Elmore is just relieved police stopped the alleged scammer before he struck again.
That's the ultimate goal. That's to put up a win for crime. And the only other thing that could be better than that is if they got their money back.
Yeah, that would be the great thing if they got their money back. And really, thankfully, this guy, was willing to go on camera and talk about this story. So again, we can get this information out to other people. But just strange going into somebody's house. The whole part where he says he got on the phone with the scam people, with the scammers, on the phone with the scammers.
So that arrest report goes on to say after paying the money, the husband and wife, they called their grandson, But their grandson told them, look, I'm okay. That was not me on the phone. I'm not in jail. Was never in an accident. And that's when they realized they were scammed. Miami-Dade police, they say they are investigating several of these scheme and defraud cases.
All right. Yeah. So the key thing to sort of think about here, why not go ahead and call the son to begin with? Why not call the son and say, you know, hey, I'm trying to reach my grandson here to check up on, see, hey, are you in jail? Do you need bail money? What is going on? Instead of just going with the voice that's on the phone that you think is the son. Does it sound like the son? You know, let me call you back. Tell the grandchild or the son, let me call you back. Tell the relative that, you know. All right, again, just sort of trying to increase our exposure to some of these so that we get used to them and we start to question what's going on around us a little bit more. I know it's hard, especially if you're doing other things, you're living your life, you're not exactly thinking that the person next to you, that the person who calls, that the person that you bump into is a person who is trying to scam you. And that may very well be the case. So hopefully this increases your knowledge about some of the things you need to do, some of the things you need to stay mindful and aware of. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.